This is Vibe Science, a top 100 wellness podcast presented by the Radcast Network, breaking wellness barriers and making health truly personal. Here are your hosts, Ryan Alford and Chris Hansen.
Hello, and welcome to Vibe Science, where we believe happy and healthy people will change the world. That's what we're doing here. Trying to get you to your highest vibe. I know who's at their highest vibe. He always is. Chris Hansen, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man? How are you today?
I'm good. Here in the new lounge. We don't have a branded name yet, but you're always in the vacay lounge, which is good. It's looking nice and bright there today. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, we've got a beautiful day down here in Miami.
I know. Chris always brings the best guests. So, we're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to talk about health and happiness and holistic healing. And, we say we're blending the best of innovative health as well as alternative wellness. And Gabi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ryan, Chris.
Tantric Educator, Reiki Master, birth and death doula. It's quite the lineup.
Doula.
Duola, excuse me. Doula. I got too many names. We got so many titles for you, Gabi. You're doing so many good things. I think I got held up in the Tantric Educator line item.
I know that one always brings question marks, which I'm happy to respond and bring it to light to everyone. Let's go.
Yes. Brazilian, right? Is that we're getting the accent from?
Yes, from the capital, Brasília. Now, directly from my not vacay, but almost there, studio in Wynwood.
There you go.
Very close.
Very close, right?
Yep.
Gabi, we talked pre-episode, about going down some different roads. For our listeners out there, we definitely want you to get to know Gabi. She's done a lot of podcasts, a lot of the origin story for her. Gabi, I do want you to kind of maybe set the table with sort of that condensed story so everybody knows who you are and what you do. But we did want to go down, a few different avenues that relates to family, health, happiness, and some things that Gabi has a lot of experience with and understanding with her teachings and learnings and all those things. But so Gabi, we'll set the table for everyone. Who is Gabi?
Yeah, so I'm someone who was born in Brazil, like you said, and now in Miami, but my whole story had a lot of happenings, and those happenings brought me into this inner journey seeking for peace and truth, but not the mainstream truth, a truth that felt good in my being, in my soul, that's beyond the name Gabi. And that brought me into studying birth, death, everything in between with Tantra. And as we were talking before the show started, just updating everyone here, that I believe that mental health is really important. And most issues come from the first years of our life, specifically the first 7 years. We are born a blank page, and as we are being taught knowledge by our parents, the society where we live, if you were born within a religion or a community, you are building synapses within your brain. The synapses are the ways that you know how to respond, and they become this very known path that it's comfortable. If that's all that you know, you're always going towards that path. So even though we are 20 years old now, we are still repeating these automatic responses because that's all that we know. So with my work with conscious parenting, I also work a lot with psychedelics, tantra, Reiki, energy healing. It's basically understanding that we can honor where we came from. But with this awareness, we can expand and create new synapses, expand and create new experiences, new responses. So we are not always responding out of a place of trauma or old memories, because life has so much to give us. We can always create something new rather than being in repetitive patterns that are not serving us any longer.
Yes. It's funny how we always end up where we began. You know, there's something telling about that. Gabi, I want to ask you a question. You know, we're trying to blend these worlds of recognizing that, you know, modern medicine has a place, but I think we all know now that health is mind, body, and spirit. We focus maybe too much in modern medicine on the body and, you know, treating. What's your perspective on this relationship between, you know, modern medicine and treatment and those sorts of things, and sort of what's labeled as these alternative realms of really what you're talking about, energy, mind, you know, origin? What's your perspective on that? I just would be curious, you know, like, 'cause I'm sure you've dealt with, you know, people or doctors or whoever maybe thinking of this as sort of like voodoo science or something, when we know that we need to be exploring these realms further.
Absolutely. So I talked about expansion, and something that I think that falls into distortion nowadays is that sometimes people want to completely deny conventional medicine. I believe that we should integrate and use all that we have. So use the technology and be grateful for it, because sometimes, like if you have a broken bone, you do need to go to see a doctor. And sometimes I believe the distortion is that people will have this very black and white thinking that now they think they have the truth, and the truth is only holistic. And I believe that the truth is that we can always ask our inner self and see what works for me now, because that there's that too. We are not frozen in time. So what works for me today, right now, in this present moment, being present with what you have now. And you talked about energy. So my take on it is that we have this physical body that we can clearly touch, but we have the subtle bodies, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, things that we cannot touch, but we know they are there. But when we have a disease means I'm out of ease. And that disease is coming from the emotional bodies. I do have to change my actions in the physical first. Because you can't just tell someone with depression, oh, just think positive thoughts. If they are in a state where they feel completely paralyzed, if they are in a repetitive state of mind where they can only see darkness. So how do I change that? I bring, for example, elements such as sound healing, because those vibrations are very subtle. Breath. Our generation is so dense that little things, that's the treasure. Sound healing, breath, movement, coming back to nature. I was listening to one of my teachers talking about how for women, for example, everything is about making life easier. So we're taking all this birth control. But the natural cycles for women are telling us, hey, now you are very productive. Now you need to rest. Now you could have a baby, or now you could not. But sometimes nowadays people want to have babies when they are 50 years old. There will be consequences. I'm not saying that you cannot do that, but there will be consequences. just buying food that's out of a can because you don't even want to cook. So all of these actions, there is a consequence for our health, our physical body, right? Like nothing replaces getting fresh herbs, cooking a fresh meal versus opening a package, or getting your cycle as a woman and now you're just taking a pill because you don't even want to get your period anymore.
We live, it's a fascinating discussion because all these conveniences that we have, there's a price to pay at some point for some of the decisions we're making. And, you know, I mean, we could go down the whole avenue of the canned foods and different things like that. Probably a whole other episode on that. It's probably above my pay grade on everything that's put in them. But I do think, you know, thinking about it,
scary,
you know, holistically as a family unit and the impacts that are being had by people not really taking care of their mind and aligning their body. Because I think, what do they say? You know, hurt people hurt people. And I think hurt people conceive hurt children even potentially. And it's a fascinating discovery. We're in this sort of loop, I think, where our society is sort of feeling this and seeing this play out with some of the generations that are kind of coming. And it doesn't mean that everything's bad, but I do think, and would love your perspective on sort of, you know, the family stakes here as it relates to all of this cycle.
Yeah, so we are all born from a mom and a dad. We all have ancestors. And like I said, you are a blank page, but as you are born within this family, I believe for spiritual reasons, we are born in each family for specific reasons, but sometimes kids are just mirroring parents. So one of my work that I develop is called conscious parenting, because as a birth doula, I spent many years also doing childcare and being in families' homes, seeing how becoming parents is a rite of passage. But if all that you know from your story is trauma, how can you teach this new generation something that's going to get them out of this trauma pattern, trauma bonding? So for me, the work is even before you conceive. It's understanding what are my reasons to want to become a parent. Are they out of love or are they out of ego? And that goes for every relationship even. Why am I with this person? Do I love them? And I just want to love and nourish this relationship. And I am inspired by them. I am inspiring them. Or I just want them to love me. Because it's all about me. So it's that very egotistical place to relate to others. If I am in a relationship with a partner out of that place, and then I conceive, everything is just a continuation. So I believe that we have to cleanse all of this mess even before, like, why am I in this relationship? Why do I want to become a parent? Is it about me or is it about love? Love is the only truth, though. Love is the only way. So sometimes we learn through pain to come back to love. Sometimes those kids that are being born, they are mirroring us issues that are happening within the family so that the family can heal. One problem that I see nowadays, though, is that parents want to send their kids to therapy. The parents don't want to go to therapy.
Yeah.
So there's a glitch in the matrix.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like
it's not my
zinger.
problem. You know,
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
You're the problem.
Yeah, you're the problem.
Yeah.
But
It's like when I hear married people, only one person going to therapy, I'm like, how's that going to work?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's called delayed.
Hey, you're the
it's
fucked
called
up one.
That's
So-
called delayed divorce. It's not. You're not
Yeah.
avoiding divorce with that therapy. You're just delaying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I think that, for example, when we get into these toxic patterns as a family, as a couple, as friends, we waste so much life. And all that I like to teach and talk is about birth, life, death. So at the end of life, if you missed all of your kids' early years because you were so busy working, it's all about you and how these kids are bothering you. Was it worth it? Something that I've been reflecting a lot is that we spend much time chasing titles and position in society. And I think that money is amazing and it helps us to have experiences, comfort. So please go out there and work and do your best. But money cannot buy love and quality time with your family, memories. So we are born naked, we die naked. We get to live all these amazing experiences, trips, foods, but we are here to love. So always coming back to that. At the end of their life, if you sit with someone who is dying, they'll probably not tell you, oh, I didn't buy that Ferrari, you know. They'll probably say, hey, I went on this trip with my family. I wish I had done this with my husband or my kids. So it's very simple and deep, but in practice, I see that a lot of people struggle with applying these simple concepts.
How do we? It's going to be hard here on Vibe Science. We like to tackle problems that we can solve while raising questions. You know, with a lot of people, you know, already, because a lot of what we're talking about starts so young. Like, unless we're fixing, you know, 15 to 25-year-olds, you know, ahead of them having children, then I think a lot of what we need to do is, and I hate to call it a Band-Aid, but how can we, and maybe some of the things that you do when you work with adults that have been in this cycle, you know, what are the ways with which you can help them and improve their energy and improve them so that maybe we can't put, you know, we can't start from the beginning, but we can make the middle better.
Absolutely. So it's all about creating new patterns, new experiences, expanding from where you are. So first of all, we always have to honor where we came from, because sometimes people have a hard time forgiving their story and their parents. And just that keeps you stuck for your whole life. So something simple, dissolve. Understand that your parents have done the best that they could with the tools that they had, and now it's on your hands. What are you going to do with your power? So reclaiming your power. Another second step into healing is that the person needs to choose that that's what they want. That's your choice. So I have walked the path and I'm here and I walk with you, but you need to be the one who's walking the path. Because, you know, with healing and Tantra, one of the biggest teachings of Tantra, we haven't gone deep in Tantra yet, but it's self-accountability. And when you have self-accountability, you cannot put into the hands of the government or religion or your partner. No, nobody that you can put the blame on or ask to save you. So you own your story, and it's never too late to rewrite our stories. So first steps are just becoming aware, forgiving. I like to say that if you want to, let's say your consciousness is a house and you want to build a new house because you realize you have issues in this house, you have leaking. But in order to build a new house, you need a foundation. So the foundation is yoga, like I said, breath, sometimes working with psychedelics, because what psychedelics do is that they create a new pathway within your brain. When you go into a journey, you get to see your past, your present, and future. It's like a dream state. So you get to heal some of those memories and reframe them. Big part of the healing journey is reframing your story and becoming the main actor on it versus just being the victim and looking for someone else to save you.
Yes.
Do this sounds like good solutions?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer in everything is my fault, like everything that happens to me or for me, like we usually from a decision I think the negative bounce back that happens to us is sort of coming from an action that we took at some point. I firmly believe that. I mean, some people call it karma. I don't know if I don't know. I believe in that.
Karma, the way that I learned.
I just think it's something that I did.
Karma is, sorry.
Yeah.
The way I learned karma is just like throwing an arrow. You throw an arrow, can you pick it in the middle of the air, like as it's flying? No, it's going to fall somewhere. So it's just a consequence. It's not in a religious mindset. That
it's cause and effect.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I think of it more like a boomerang. That boomerang comes back and hits you. What's up, guys? Ryan and Chris here. I want to talk about our latest partnership with Apollo. It's the wearable that literally brings the vibes to you. That's what we love. And look, after sleep, stress is the biggest thing you have to control, literally for your health and wellness. And that's what this does. 40% reduction in stress just from the vibrations that it sends. Chris has been like literally a spokesperson for 3+ years, and he has seen all the results from this. I know you can talk about it, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Apollo wearable, been using it for 3 years. This thing, I really bought it because I saw reduce stress, reduce anxiety, help sleep. You know how it is as an entrepreneur, high stress, high pressure all the time. I was looking for natural ways to kind of relax, calm down, regulate my nervous system. And I found out the Apollo wearable, they have a calm feature, an unwind feature, stuff when I'm feeling stressed or I'm in a meeting or I've actually been in some, other situations, right? We all have stressful situations, could even be traffic. I'll literally pop this thing on in my car and I'm good. I kind of feel myself tone it down. I mean, the vibrations it's sending literally is vibe science. I mean, this literally is tricking your body and biohacking through your nervous system to tell you, hey, I'm calm right now. All this on the outside is not affecting me.
Love it. And look, I'm as skeptical as anyone, but this is scientifically backed. There's research here, a lot of it. We really appreciate the partnership with Apollo, and you will appreciate the product and getting your best in health and wellness. You go to apolloneuro.com. We'll have that in the show notes. Use Vibe Science. You'll get 15% off. And look, it's all about longevity, health, and wellness. There's nothing better than investing in yourself. We love you.
Oh my God.
How,
Yep.
what are we love action and like value on the show, like telling people and it's so fun when we talk about it. We, with our brand Vibe Science, we talk about like some of the easiest things are, free and out there, nature, breathing, everybody wants to make it complicated. But what are the ways with which when someone comes to you specifically, like what are some of the exercises you do to sort of improve them and specifically take them from, point A to point B, a bad place to a good place? How do we get on the bus of high vibes?
So most simple one is organizing your life, organizing your house. Because if you want to build a new house and this house is a mess, you need to first clean up and take out the trash. So if you come to me saying that you are going through grief and a breakup, or Your kids don't eat. I'm like, let's take a honest look in the mirror right now. Tell me, how is your house? Is it organized? Is it clean? Like, I'm talking about your physical house, because there is no separation between inside and outside. So if my house is a mess, that means my mind, it's also a mess. But remember, I told you, you have to start from the physical to the subtle. I can just tell someone who is with depression, sitting around a bunch of literally mess, listening to depressing songs, I can just tell them, no, just get over with your life and go to work. I have to say, hey, let's clean up your house. Let's wash your dishes. Because for Tantra, we are only alive through our senses. So bringing nice smells to your home, improving the things that you are seeing, that you are hearing. All of those subtle energies, the colors that you wear. Nowadays, there's a whole trend about gray, beige, all the minimalist stuff, but the colors, they bring a huge impact to your psyche. So if you see me walking around Miami, for example, I'm usually very colorful.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm always black. I wear black
neon
t-shirts.
pink in the gym. That's how I spot Gabi. If I walk in the gym and I see someone glowing in neon, it's Gabi, on the elliptical or something.
The unicorn. Yeah. But truly, like, if you go out in nature and you see just gray, it's something that a gray sky from the rainy day. And I believe in life we'll have happy days, sad days. It's not about trying to always be positive and the toxic positive that ignores when you need to feel it. We're humans, we're not robots. But very simple things make a huge difference in our lives. And I'm saying this because I live it. I just told you. If you go find me at the gym, like Chris said, I'll be very colorful. And I'm burning an incense right now. My house is pretty organized. Everything has a place. I think that we can read 100 books and listen to 1,000 podcasts. But how is your home? How? And that's where we start.
Organization. I love it. I will say,
practice, action.
It's big. Oh God, you're speaking my love language today. Self accountability. Look yourself in the mirror. Organization. Yes, and I did buy a diffuser for the new studio. We have scents blowing in here. I'm feeling like my checklist is good. I'm feeling like the Reiki master is not going to judge us too hard,
baby.
Yes, I got the lighting too. The glow.
Even from the perspective of Tantra, for example, with the senses, and when we talk about intimacy with someone, you have no natural smell at all. Like you don't like the way you smell your sweat. So you put a lot of perfume on your skin, a lot of makeup. I mean, come on, like we connect through our hormones, smell, like that's part of the sexual chemistry. And now you are just intoxicated with artificial fragrances. How can you connect with someone? So we are so disconnected from simple things. It's bonkers.
Let's talk about Tantra. We're kind of dancing around it a bit. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of fear would probably be the wrong word, but probably
people just think of dirty sex. No, I mean,
I think how many positions?
I think that's like the general population's consensus is like tweaked weird positions doing sex, right?
I think of like yoga and sex mixing.
Yeah. So Gabi, tell us, what is Tantra?
Yes.
really.
Tantra is not Kama Sutra.
You're right.
That's
That's the one. Got
damn it. I mean, yeah,
That's
good.
it. So,
Glad we cleared that up.
All right,
Because we were on the same page, right?
Yes.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Gabi.
Yes, thank you.
that's what you were talking about.
Okay. All right.
She's like, well, first off, it's completely different than what you guys are talking about.
Yes, it is not the figure 4 leg
so
lock.
Tantra,
Yeah.
I believe that what you guys are talking about comes from porn culture, though. Like,
Probably.
Yeah, for Chris, for sure.
We go back to the beginning.
This must be my
We go
porn
back
days
to
coming
the
back again.
basics. Like, how old were you when you saw a porn magazine for the first time or a video? Do you remember? Can you guys tell me?
Yeah, I was like 12. Some
Yeah,
random guy
somewhere around there.
sent me and my
12.
friend an instant message with a nude pic.
Yeah. It's exactly like this guy had magazines hidden in the woods, and he was like, come look at this. And I was like 12 or 13. It was like hidden under some trees, half of them wet. I'm like, this is just feels dirty.
Sounds dirty. Some random strange man inviting you into the woods to look at this dirty man.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
where
what's
were
wrong
your
with
parents?
me. I knew there was something. Man, this could be
Man,
like
South Carolina.
Yes. Can I get a brown couch to lay on while I tell this story?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Okay,
it's just
so
dirty
Tantra-
friends.
So, okay, your first memories from seeing a naked body is you're 12 years old, you're a boy. Now you're seeing this magazine or X videos, I don't know what you're watching, but all of that is staged and edited, of course. It's the same with social media nowadays. You open Instagram, you see a bunch of bodies. Tantra is bringing intimacy back because when you are with a real person that has real smells, real taste, and energetic presence, but your brain is fixated on the image that you saw when you were 12, or if you are addicted to porn, you're just seeking for that experience, but that experience is not real because it was edited, it was staged. So Tantra is bringing back to the basics, actually. Wow, how does it feel to have here foreplay? For Tantra, there is not a goal to come. The Tantric connection, the intimacy, is for you to reach nirvana through that intimacy. And to reach nirvana, we have to let go of all the conditionings about how the person with me needs to look, how they need to smell, the positions, the sounds they're going to make. And a lot of what we learn about sex comes from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Or not even from Hollywood. It comes from X videos, like I said, or this random guy in the woods with a magazine. So in order to practice Tantra, we have to unlearn a lot of things first.
So how do you unlearn?
Yes. How do we unlearn? I'm stuck on the magazine in the woods, unfortunately. Like how terrible that was.
I know never in history, like I always hear this stat, like we as men have been exposed to more nudity than like our fathers, our grandfathers combined, like now with social media and everything else. So, which I would think is, like you said, desensitizing us from real, true intimacy. So
yeah,
are these like practices you do with a partner, or is this something you can do like on your own?
So first step, once again, awareness. Oh, when I am with someone, am I really there? Am I really present? So unlearn anything that you do in a spiritual practice. First, you bring it to consciousness, because oftentimes people are not even conscious. They are just on autopilot. So first you bring it to awareness. Then you have to practice until you become. And people talk a lot about materializing things and the laws of attraction. Everything that we do, though, is like are my thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions in alignment? Because I can say, oh, I would like to have a very conscious relationship, and I feel that I want that, but my actions is that I am not in alignment at all. So when something is off, first you need to see where is it off. I may be acting nice, but I feel that I want that porn experience. So there is no right or wrong. You can have penetration of bodies or penetration of soul. There's no right or wrong. It's just choosing what is the experience I want to have. Because self-accountability. And also, I think that now, like you said, back in the day, if you wanted to see a boob, like you had to do a whole movement. You had to like ride a horse to see your girlfriend. Our ancestors, it was something completely different. Write a letter, like you had to write a letter. You had to go on the payphone. Now, you just have a match. Oh, I don't really like this person, next. So first, awareness. Hey, I am not buying into this anymore. I don't want to be in this place anymore because it's not fulfilling. I think that we are all starved for intimacy. Not all, but a lot of us are starving for intimacy, but because also of all the trauma that we talked about. I know this sounds like mixing a lot of things together, but I believe it's all intertwined. The attachment styles that people have now with avoidance or fight or flight. So if I'm always avoidant or if I'm always anxious, how can I have true intimacy? So vulnerability is also a key to healing. It's coming to the person that you are seeing and saying, hey, I have lived all that stuff. I have had casual relationships. I have tried and I don't feel happy. Do you want to try something new? Because I think that a lot of people want to try something new, but we don't even talk. So something that I created, for example, is the death talk. But I do tantra talks, workshops, and the goal is just to create a safe space where we can open up and drop the walls around our heart. If you're completely naked with someone, but you cannot be yourself because you need to move in this way, you need to make this noise. Like, are you really completely naked? Are you wanting to get there to show them that you got there or to have pleasure? Because the one who is experiencing pleasure is the one who is expanding their heart. So if I tell you, Chris, I love you, you don't know how much I love you. Or you can say, oh, okay, Gabi loves me. But if you tell me that you love me, you are feeling the love too. So it's a beautiful expansion of consciousness when we have intimacy out of this place, in my opinion. Not out of the porn, but out of real connection. But it's a practice, because if you want to build something new, it's like just going to school of life.
Once I get it, it makes a ton of sense. So once if you get to that place where you're conscious and you're there and you're present and you've kind of left, I don't know, learned or expected things behind and you're ready to experience that with your partner, what's kind of the next step from there? Like what is the tantra? Again, we've righted ourselves from what it is and what it isn't. But once you get to that stage, then what is the experience?
Usually, for example, it's setting a time. So organization, right? Every relationship that we have in our lives, everything needs time. So, hey, we are going to set this time where we'll be fully present here. It's not, oh, let's just bang after dinner because I have to go to work tomorrow. You have to set the stage. Chris is laughing.
Your laugh is killing me.
Yeah, well. I think that's what my wife said to me last week. So, yeah.
So dedicating time for the relationship. Hey, let's connect. And then in the room, you can explore with massage, with oils. And something that's important is that when one person is giving, the other one is just receiving. So we fully drop in because there is always this, oh, he's giving me, now I have to give back. She's giving me, now wait, like receive. Because like I said, understand that when they are loving you, it's good for them too. And when you're receiving, it's good for you. So it's just this dance where there is no agenda or time. You really get out of the 3D because we are limited here by time and space. So you set up this meeting of souls where you are breathing together, where you are fully there, you are eye gazing. So in the tantric practice, there's a lot of eye gazing and circular breathing, where you are connecting and dropping the guard and just being present. Once again, you can have a penetration of bodies or penetration of soul. Nothing's right or wrong, but this is how it is in the tantric connection.
I feel like you need a teacher there with you, like, you know, like.
And something else that's important is that there is no heavy expectations. So nowadays there's a lot of pressure on the masculine, or if he didn't get an erection, or if in tantra you understand that the energy goes up and down. So he may have an erection now, or she may be turned on. Now he went away, but it's not about me because it's not egotistical. So his erection went away. Okay, whatever. We keep playing like it's all fun and play and exciting. It's not a heavy expectation. You have to unlearn. That's one of the main parts. And yeah, you can have intimacy out of this soul connection, not out of your mind.
You know,
you need a teacher.
Yeah, I do think you need like a third party there, like teaching you through this. It's just kind of weird too, but
coaching.
But I think you just hit the key word of lot. I think it's like what we're trying to do with Vibe Science and like what you've been talking about, the unlearn. You know, we've been conditioned and taught and have these standards that just because they're a standard doesn't mean they're right. And we've got to unlearn as much as we're learning, right?
Yes. Opening your mind. Something that I say a lot about birth and death, for example, is that those are just natural parts of being alive. So giving birth is not a medical, unless it is really an emergency, usually it's not. So our ancestors used to give birth at home. If I ask most people where do they want to die, probably at home, around their family and community. Why are we not questioning this? Why are a lot of people dying in isolation? You know, during the pandemic, I was going to attend a birth and they basically didn't let me be there as the family did not speak English. They asked me to be there because they were in New Jersey. Don't speak English, they only speak Portuguese. Their dad is telling me, hey, please, if someone needs to go, I want it to be you. I don't feel prepared to be there. And the hospital people are yelling at this woman who's squatting, giving birth. So it's a mess. And all of this mess creates early trauma, separation, mistrust, fear. So the way to go back is questioning these simple things, like why are we giving birth in such hostile place? Why are people dying alone in a hospital? why. And then from questioning why and not feeling good about it, I think we can create real change by changing my action and spreading the word, how we are doing here at Vibe Science, so I'm so grateful to be here. I believe that we can create a ripple effect and help others to wake up that life it is beautiful and it can be beautiful.
I think a lot of this gets written off as like, oh, you're just overthinking it. Well, no, I think we've been underthinking it. Yeah. Like not putting enough thought into it.
100%. And just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And just to touch on the subject that I haven't talked a lot today about death and underthinking death is that why don't we talk about death? So if you die tomorrow and your family has no clue what were your wishes, and now they are grieving, they have to try to figure out what is it that you wanted, try to get resources and money to create this funeral. So it's just like, hey, if we have these conversations early on and make it a natural part of being here, our families don't have to struggle when we die because they don't have to be guessing what is it that you wanted. If you have a birth plan, even though sometimes a birth plan goes right out the window, but you have at least a direction. You thought about things, you have intention. Intention without any action is dead. So intention is just planning for the future, but sometimes people don't even have an intention. They're just going with the flow. And I feel that everyone eventually wakes up, but I hope that it's not when you are dying. I hope that you can leave before you are dead.
Yes. And with that, the attention thing is huge. And that's, I think, again, the point of what we're doing with this show is empowering people with knowledge. We want people to take control of their own lives and make their own decisions. We're not going to guide that, which parts of, educators like yourself and teachers like yourself, bring to the table. We want our audience to kind of pick and choose what's right for them, but ultimately they have to take control and have intent on making their life their own and taking their health and well-being of the mind, body, and energy on to themselves. And Gabi, you've been wonderful in sharing your story in ways that they can do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I want to just close this by sharing that, like you said, about taking responsibility and making decisions out of this empowered place is do not fear judgment, because sometimes you are actually leading through example. So do what needs to be done and trust. If you trust in God or in the universe or in divine guidance, trust that if you feel in alignment with your actions, thoughts, feelings, emotions, it's okay. Your family, your partner, and if it falls out of alignment and that partner needs to go or the friendship is done, let it go with grace. But don't become sick because you want to fit into someone else's expectations, because maybe their expectations are just your interpretation of them. You know what I mean? So just be free, be happy, here and now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabi. Where can everyone keep up with everything you're doing and learn more about all of your programs and things like that?
Yeah, so you can just reach out through my personal Instagram, which is GoatGabi, GoatGabi. And I also have, if you are more interested about the deaf talks, I have another Instagram that's called the Deaf Talk. I'll be at a festival in California called Lightning in a Bottle in May, doing a talk called The Ultimate Orgasm, Sex and Death. So if you are on the West Coast, you can come and watch that. We'll be talking about life's essentials. And yes, I eventually also work with elders from different parts of the world, from the jungle. So just shoot me a message and I'll love to connect with each person, even if it's just to say hi.
Love it. Thank you so much, Gabi, for sharing your knowledge and coming on the show.
Thank you both.
Hey guys,
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Chris.
Hey guys, you know where to find us, vibescience.media. You'll be able to find all of the links to the full podcast episode, YouTube, all of Gabi's information, and of course, getting in touch with Chris or I. Chris is at Chris Bobby Hansen on Instagram. I'm at Ryan Alford. We'll see you next time on Vibe Science. The content discussed on this show is provided for reference and educational purposes. The content is not an attempt to practice medicine or provide specific medical advice. Always consult your personal physician for medical advice and proper diagnosis.
Thanks for listening. This is Vibe Science. To learn more or watch full episodes, visit vibesciencepodcast.com. Here's to discovering your highest vibe